Welcome, everyone. Apologies for the delay. Um, Let me introduce our panel for today. We've got the husband-wife founder duo of Varak, Preet and Diva. And we've got the co-founder of Credibila, Karan, with us here today. Welcome, Preet. Welcome, Karan. Welcome, Diva. I'm going to straight up go to the question. Both of you guys, can you please tell us about your journey in the F&B industry? How did you start? How was your experience in Dubai before you started Varak?
Go for it.
Okay. So I started from home in a city called Hyderabad in India, and I've been baking for the last 16 years. You know, I think my teacher was Google and YouTube at first, and then a couple of years into baking, I realized how passionate I am about it. Opened one store in Hyderabad, opened another one, did a lot of short courses, master classes, and stuff like that to hone my skills. Found Preet along that journey, who had studied hospitality, which was my dream, and together we moved to Dubai, and Varak is our baby here, and Preet will continue.
So yeah, I mean, it was perfect because I studied hospitality and I did my hospitality in Switzerland. I traveled around the world. I worked in food tech like Kitopi, a company called Lime Tray. It was the entire food tech boom in India back in the day. And then I moved to Dubai in 16. I met her along the food tech journey. And that was the perfect thing, right? So I found a wife and a executive pastry chef. And then we got married in 19, and 2020 is when we started Varak from home, which was always the idea. But we just had to do it gradually because both of us really believe that the fastest way to get there was slowly. And this is our 6th year into it. So
I mean, I know, Diva, you've already you've built and sold a venture already in Hyderabad. So you're a two-time founder, but you had to start all the way from ground up and in a new country altogether. So how was that experience and why did you take that decision?
Very interesting, actually. I was in a lot of two minds when I sold that business because, when you start something when you're very young, it's very hard to part ways with that. But then when I met Preet along that journey, um, he made me see dreams or visualize dreams that probably I didn't know I was worthy of seeing those dreams, or probably I did, but I thought I wouldn't be able to make them come true. And he kind of lured me in a good way, which today I'm so glad and grateful, because he's like, you know what, we'll use better quality chocolate and better quality cream and all of that stuff that you don't get in India, and you'll get like imported things that you've always wanted to play around with. And that's when I'm like, yeah, doesn't sound bad. And at that time, it just so happened that I sold that. Somebody walked in, I sold that business, and then we started this together from scratch, which was beautiful and exciting.
My birthday cake was from Varak actually, and I feel like I've tried your mango delicacies, and I really think that you guys read your customers very well. Because I know about your stroop waffles and your dessert in a glass. So, what is that process of innovation? I feel you guys keep innovating every season.
So for me, as a creator, it's a lot of nostalgia that comes from things that I've probably eaten, used as a child, and then that's what we infuse in the kitchen. Stories that we weave through Preet's childhood and my childhood, and a lot of it also comes through travel. When we travel, I think we've got a keen eye. We both love food. We are very passionately obsessed with food ingredients, and which is why Varak is a very ingredient-driven brand, I would say.
So yeah, I think so I'll give you an example, right? I could think of a flavor, but then Diva would actually test and see if it's feasible or no. For example, we did the Dubai Diwali bar last year, where I felt after my marriage it was the best idea that came to my head. Right in the shower, I was like, "What is an Indian crunch that I can put in a chocolate?" And I was like, "Bhujia." But that's where my innovation of flavor ended, right? I thought I'll put chocolate and bhujia. Now, where Diva comes in is Diva's going to be like, you can't put dry bhujia in a chocolate and pan it. It's not going to stay. The bhujia has to get mixed in almond butter to create that paste to make that product durable and having the filling effect is where Diva comes in. I could think of there's a new product coming this Diwali that I'm not going to say what it is, but I thought about it. As a concept, it's phenomenal. But if you actually go to practice it, it wasn't very doable until she would crack it with that culinary expertise, right? So both of us have got the flavor profiles. Both of us come from extensive F&B backgrounds, but there's always a lot of innovation and there's a lot of hit and miss also. There are some products that are very close to our heart but that don't fly. We launched a cottage cheesecake once because I thought,
Yeah.
who does normal cheesecake? We'll do a paneer cheesecake, cottage cheesecake.
Yeah.
I don't think we even sold like 5 pieces of it. But I thought it was I was so pumped about it.
Nice.
But so
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, honestly, Varak is not just about eating a cake. I feel that day when I saw the biscuits that arrived in the sewing
Yeah.
sewing kit.
sewing kit. It was a very funny and ironic take to our childhood where we see the sewing kit in the blue biscuit box. So I feel as a customer, when we see Varak, it's not about eating the cake. The experience starts from looking at the box itself. So tell us about one of your one of your greatest strengths, your packaging.
Go for it. I'll add on to what you say.
So when I was baking for the first 7 years, right, my journey in India, it was more learning for me. And then when we started this in Dubai, I feel Dubai is a lot about first you eat through what you see. You know, that's what you
you eat through your
look.
eyes.
Yeah, you eat through your eyes, and that's when Varak means luxury. Like for us, it says the edible luxury, and we want luxury to be accessible. And the packaging, I think, apart from the ingredients, the quality of cream, where we are sourcing it from, the chocolate, all of that is one aspect. But unless something doesn't look as glamorous, you know, the new Dubai it. So we're literally Dubaiing it. That's what we're doing, and that's what we're doing with the packaging.
Yeah, we didn't cut corners, right? So I would meet a lot of vendors and they would be like, do you make it outside? Everything that we do, though it costs us more money, but is made in the UAE. Like our vendors are in Ajman. Like we haven't gone to China, we haven't gone to India, though we could go and then we do a higher MOQ and eventually, but we've always tried to one, get the highest premium product. Because one thing that people kind of forget, right? You can charge a premium, but if a customer feels it's worth it and if you're doing justice to it, it works. And that's what worked in our packaging. Though the packaging cost was high, which even kind of skyrocketed last year as compared to 24, it went up to even 16% of our total revenue, which we had to pull down this year. But that was because our packaging was a very important part. Like every time we met somebody, they would say 3 things, right? It would say, oh, we love your content. And they would say, oh, amazing packaging. And it's crazy that the last thing they would say is that, oh,
We also love your stuff.
we also love your stuff.
I guess it's a whole
everything,
package,
yeah,
Exactly.
it opens
everything-
up like that,
yeah,
unravels
yeah.
itself
But
like
it's
that.
crazy if you think
Yeah.
about it. We are a dessert and a gifting brand, right? It should start with, oh, hey, I love your brittle, or hey, I love your trifle. But it always starts with something that you don't think it
Content
would.
has become such a big part of the game. I think that's what puts your brand up.
I think
over
it just completes the whole experience. I guess you guys have really cracked the whole experience from the start to end, you know, from the time you order to you anticipate, you know.
Yeah. So I would
great.
have that with Diva a lot, right? So I would like in the beginning when we would make like a product is made and like, you know, and we would get the idea, but you know, the chef has made the product. But then from that product being made to it being packaged to you placing an order to it reaching you in time, from you opening it and it looking the same that you thought it would look as, this is an entire customer journey, which we were very particular. So that's why we did not go on the third parties for the first 3 years of our business. We had our own drivers. We never delivered on bikes. We had cars because the product, if we charge a premium, should be the same way. So I felt the customer journey from what they see to what they receive needs to be very, very tight.
That's great. I think I'm going to go back to your hits and misses because I see you've done a lot of work and everything seems to have gone right. But there's obviously a lot behind it. And this reminds me of Ben Horowitz, who's a very famous entrepreneur, investor. He's got a very popular book called Hard Thing About Hard Things, in where he talks about the struggle. And the struggle is the moment when you can't talk to anyone. You know, there's something going absolutely wrong. You guys are like, so I really want to hear about that, you know, the struggle for Varak with you guys.
Go for it.
I think the biggest, and this is something that I don't think I've ever shared it on podcast. So we were operating from home, right, for about 20 months. And this is a very premium building where we were operating from. The Diwali of 2021, really peaked when we had over 150 riders coming to our house to pick up their Diwali gifts. Kareem, personal drivers of people, blah, 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 blah. This led to a massive traffic jam under the building, which led to the security making a complaint to the head of the building. And next day, now this is Diwali day, is when I get a official notice that you are operating a commercial thing from the building, from your house. Now we had got the trade license and we were using the house only for dispatching the gifts, not that we were cooking from there because we already got the trade license. But because Diwali was that day and it was a very crucial day of dispatch for us, it was about them saying that we are going to take you will be evicted from the house. And I had just renewed the contract for 100,000 dirhams, and they said we will keep all the checks and the money, and you will still be evicted.
Yeah, we didn't sleep that night.
Wow.
And but then I had to prove it. I said, why don't we do a check? Come over, because this is not a kitchen. And it's funny that when they came the next day, they were checking the fire alarms and all, because I wasn't cooking in the house.
Yeah.
Right? So I had to like explain that, okay, you know how Eid, there's Diwali, and a lot of people find this to be closer to their home. So it's just dispatching. But small things like this could literally, now I cannot expect a consumer to understand, oh, this happened, it's okay. He or she has to go to somebody's house and he has paid me in advance to receive his gift in time. And everything else is, today it's a very small thing, but we had to literally overnight move even every little thing that was there to the shop within, I think, less than 8 hours.
And you delivered.
I delivered.
Yeah, and we did.
We really delivered.
No, we did.
I think I lost a kg or two.
It's not just the struggle, the hustle.
Yeah.
Oh, it was major hassle.
It's a lot.
And this is while that shop was opening, and I get a call from the guy saying that, hey, I cannot put your signage because the security of the building is not allowing me.
Yeah.
And I was just literally going to have a mental breakdown. I'm like, what am I supposed to focus on? Getting evicted from this house?
Right.
Or making sure that the signage guy is not stopped, or the security of the building is troubling, or the customer whose order is supposed to reach him or her in time.
Nice.
Twin dilemma. Yeah.
I think it's great. I mean, you've been really, you really prioritize the customers.
No,
Clearly.
I think we were wasted. When we take an order, I think we have sleepless nights just thinking that we need to cater it right. Like,
And so as our consumers, right?
Yeah.
We have so many of our clients who've now become our friends. Like I remember when our child was born 2.5 years back, the amount of gifts we received from people we didn't even know was unreal.
That is the time we realized how much Varak and we are loved in this city.
And how much of a community brand we are.
Yeah, Varak community
Like for
brand.
Vai's first birthday, it's a small thing. We did not throw a big party, but Diva decided to do 100 DIY make your own cakes, and we gave it for free to everybody who had a child, and they could just pick up and make a cake with their child.
That was Instagram famous. I've seen that. Yes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
We just like, it was just a thought that
Yeah.
because I feel like Varak it's people. That's
Yeah.
what Varak is, because that's
I
how
saw
we've
that,
reached
yeah.
whatever we've reached
Yeah.
from home is through the
Yeah.
people, and that
The
so
painting
we just give
one,
back.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that one too.
I think it's great. I think what's interesting is, from consumers, you've gone to even large corporates, which has, really been a big success. You've got household names now like Emirates, NBD, UBS, Deutsche Bank. I mean, the other day we were counting, we went to, we were at a bank and, met Preet, and he looked at all the logos in the bank. He's like, all of these guys are my clients.
Great eureka moment.
Yeah, no, I think it's amazing. So how does that side come out, because that's quite a big undertaking, right?
No, I could be wrong here, but this is my understanding of it, and it's taken me 6 years to realize this, right? Every time somebody's like, hey, how do you crack a corporate? I feel there's one route where you go to procurement and stuff, and then, go the route where they have a marketing budget and they decide this is what we're going to do for gifting. But I feel that every corporate that we've cracked has been an inbound. We've got a few outbounds, but inbounds, whereas somebody in that company loved the brand so much that they made sure that the entire company bought from us. To the time where it reached the top management and they decided that now we would do this as a gifting for our clientele. It happened with Bank of Singapore, it happened with Deutsche Bank, it happened with Barclays, it's happened with UBS. There was an individual in that company that loved it and said, hey, I'm going to take it personally upon myself to introduce you to HR and make sure that this year the gift that we as team members receive is Varak. Because I'm tired of receiving things that I don't like. So I'm going to receive something that I like. And in order for me to do that, for that to happen, I need to make sure I connect you to the right person. And it worked for us maybe
Yeah.
15 times.
Yeah.
That was how
Great.
we cracked every corporate.
So let's see the story through the numbers. From your first dining table days to now, how has the business grown?
So we've grown to about 2020, we've grown about 55% year on year, where in 2025 our clocked revenue was about $2 million. So 55% year on year growth. We've got 2 outlets now. We've got a 37 people team. Diva, and I'm saying so every recipe and everything is Diva's, but it's amazing that Diva hasn't probably baked a cake in like 3 years now, which also proves the business is scalable. But
Right.
every recipe is hers, which also makes it a big pro because as a co-founder, I'm not dependent on a chef that I have no control on, right? Because this is a major struggle in the F&B industry. What if my chef runs away?
That's nice.
I lose a wife if my chef runs away. So it works in. So we've grown about 55% year on year, and 25 was 7.6 million AED, and we intend to hit about 12.5 to 13 mil in 2026.
That's great. And I think you started with cakes, but it's the categories have expanded a lot more since
Correct.
then. So what does that mix look like now?
So a very good question, right? So everybody's like, how is Varak different, right? You have a cake shop and you have a gifting brand, right? I'm going to name some really good brands that we think are doing a great job in the market. You've got a home bakery and a Magnolia in the dessert category. And then you have a Pachi and a Ladder Rack and a Batil in the gifting category.
Right.
Varak is a baby of these 2 brands, right? So we have 65% of our business is fresh desserts, which is something that generates cash for us throughout the year. And 35% is gifting, which gives us that boost in Q4 and Q1 where there is Eid, Diwali, Christmas, which usually cake shops and bakeries don't have. Because they're very limited, because in these events, all the companies want long shelf life products, which also makes me feel that it gives Varak that uniqueness that there are literally, so that's why we are a fresh cakes and a luxury gifting brand. And as a complementing business, there can even be opportunity where there's only a gifting only kiosks or there is only a dessert only gig, right? So whereas both of these work very well hand in hand to average out things in certain quarters of the year, whereas they save each other
Right.
and makes the brand also.
Yeah.
Ladu Ray would be the perfect example for Varak's North Star, a luxury confectionery which also does gifting.
Got it. Now that's interesting. I mean, you've got sort of a spread of shelf life. You've got
Clean products, I think Diva
Clean
would
products. You've got snacks, you've got nuts,
Right.
and at the same time, you've got a party, you've got a dinner at home, and you want something fresh. You want like a pudding, you want a cake, you have a high tea at home, you want a tea cake. So Varak is this whole ecosystem, and all of this is being baked fresh. I think that's
Right.
like a very key point. It's
Yes.
not things that have been frozen, not like our cakes, sponges. You call us now, we whip a cake fresh in the next 15 minutes, and we give it to you. That's
Yeah,
the whole
I think that's
idea.
been a big trick to crack, actually.
We
I
are
think.
against displays, huge displays, I would say, where we stock 100 cakes, and at the end of the night we wait with what to do with these leftover cakes. So we don't do that.
So a lot of bakeries you see, right, after 5-6 p.m. they're at a 50% discount because that's how much they've made.
Yeah, because
There are a
either
lot of-
everything goes in the
Yeah,
bin or
exactly.
it's sold the next day or it's put back in the freezer. So we don't do any of that. We've got this whole system ready where we keep sponges are made in the morning, cream, fillings, everything is made by the hour. As the orders pour in, things are being made fresh, and that is why Varak is Varak and why it's different. Apart from the creativity and the innovation of the flavor profile and the packaging, I think this is something that's underlying, that's so underrated in Dubai and all over the world, I would say.
It's not luxurious because of the packing. It's
Yeah.
luxurious because it's fresh.
Yeah,
And
that's
freshness
it.
today is overrated because every time you go meet a big fund or somebody, they're like, hey, is it scalable? What's the shelf life?
Yeah.
Can it be longer? No. There's no shelf life extenders. There are
I mean,
no
you're putting it
coloring.
inside your body. Why would I think from that angle, right?
We can do
Yeah,
we can do a good shelf life, and we've cracked the game whilst being fresh.
yeah.
You don't always have to do it because today the consumer really understands, right? Today, how many times did you hear gluten free about 5 years back, or refined
Right.
sugar free, or terms such as macros and your calories and your.
Yeah.
Today the awareness is there, and a customer is ready to pay you a little premium for putting the right thing inside their mouth
Yeah.
and into their child's.
Yeah.
So you can, I think, we can achieve a shelf life scale and keep it fresh
Yeah.
at the same time.
I think you've definitely seems like you've found the trick there. It's been hard, and you've been willing to take on that challenge. So, in terms of channel mix, right? So,
Correct.
so this is in terms of category mix. So, how do you see your business between B2B versus direct consumer? How does that look like?
I think we have about a, I would say 60-40 or a 70-30 split, whereas we have 60 to 70% is direct to consumer, which is a big thing to crack, which we have been able to. And the remaining are B2Bs, because B2Bs come in two ways to us. There are investment companies that buy about 400-500 cakes from us a year. And at the same time, we have corporates that do gifting with us during festivities. So these are the two ways we do corporates and stuff. So yeah, it's about 60-40 or 70-30 split between B2B and B2C, which is, I feel, also very healthy. Because when you do a lot of B2B, you also have lower margins, right? Because the volume is bigger.
Right.
And also the kind of B2Bs we work with is something that who also have a little better budget. Because sometimes, somebody's like, hey, I want this product in, say, 15 dirhams because I'm getting it from this X brand. And I think a month back, I let go of an order for a very big fashion brand because they were super stuck on a price, and there was no way I would, unless I compromised on the quality of chocolate I used.
Right.
So I let it go.
Yeah, that's a hard call, but
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
a,
Yeah.
it's a good
And it
call.
was a very big brand to be a part of. But it's okay.
So, what is the road ahead for Varak? What is your plan for the next 5 years?
So I think that I would love to firstly make 3-year plans. Because I mean, considering everything that's happening, I think it's important for us to be agile, right? So I would, we would be like, hey, I would never open a restaurant. So firstly, we are not just a cloud kitchen into, or rather a small dark kitchen in Alcuz. We have proper showrooms where people come and they can taste and they can do, we do wedding favors. We cater to some fantastic names in the market, like for 24/7 Media, VFS Global, individuals from Robin Uthappa to we've Amy Virt to Vivek Oberoi to Sania Mirza. They only do it because they like the product. And I'm not saying they've ordered once. I'm only saying these names is because we are a part of their everyday festivals. So the road ahead is, because the consumers and some really good A-listers and HNIs have shown so much faith, where they have so many options in the market. The plan is simple, that we shall open 10 stores by 2030, which is not a very aggressive number. We have 3.5 years to open another 8. We always thought we will not do a cloud kitchen, but we've just signed a cloud kitchen in the city. I wouldn't tell the name, with a very reputed cloud kitchen company. We're going to try something out. So that happens in September. We've already signed the 4th outlet, again in a place in Dubai, which I wouldn't name, in February. We've already signed the MOU for that. So by Q1 next year, we'll already be on 4, which leaves us with 6 more in the next 3 years.
Nice.
And with that, I think that if we average 5 million sale per outlet, so with, like, for example, if we hit 12 million this year, that will be with 2 outlets. But conservatively, if we hit 5 million on an average per year per outlet, with 10 outlets, we should hit a 50 million revenue by 2030.
So that's about 4 to 5 times.
Yes, which is fair with a very healthy net profit. So, and also one of the things that we did from the beginning is that we never burnt. We've been a EBITDA positive company. This year, the 12 million we intend to hit is at a 12% EBITDA. And it only goes up because we would probably do smaller outlet, a more centralized store and kitchen where we can do more assembly and dispatch, and hire more talent to help us plan the whole operational game stronger, right? In the likes of phenomenal gifting brands in the region. We have the blooming boxes, we have a lot of like ferns and petals, and that's a vision. We are but at the same time not compromising on the quality and freezing. That's why we are not saying 20 outlets, 30 outlets. We want to do Abu Dhabi with the right partner properly, We have 4-5 at least stores in Dubai to cover every area. Keeping our direct channel really heavy. We never did third parties until the first 3 years of the business, because there's a we and today also we give the customer the incentive to order directly and get a 20% lesser price than on third parties, whereas still the channels are growing, which shows us there's a room for increasing of our pricing. So I always say this, that we are not, so this is the strategy for the future.
Nice.
10 outlets 2030.
And what are the sort of thoughts around beyond outlets? Like, what are the other avenues that you're looking at? I mean, if there is any beyond outlets.
Great question. And I met somebody today who gave me a really good. So there's a lot of offline bits. So we would always say we will not open a cafe. But today we feel that the roadmap is there. We just launched sandwiches, and which is doing really well. So eventually we will go into the retail experience, right? To having that offline experience in malls where we are more ready. At this point, if we went to see a lot of outlets in Dubai Mall and in Dubai Hills Mall, and we just said to each other that, hey, we are not mall ready yet. So because we felt that in order for you, it needs to be you need to be ready in terms of catering that need. So I think offline stores is something that is certainly on the maps. A little bit more food and a Varak experience. And so we always thought if we do food, we'll do a proper Varak concept cafe. It can't be the same and expect now people should turn up. Like for example, if you look at brands like Julit in the city, they or like a lot of or what's this, the new coffee place, that's Cherry House, Honda. I mean, have you gone in?
Yeah.
Have you seen the experience? It took Cherry House has been being built since 2019. People, if you do dine in, you need to do it right. It's an experience, right? So I'm saying that is the roadmap. We will do experience, we'll do retail, we'll do offline. There's gifting in Dubai duty free. That's the dream, that we would want to be there while before you leave Dubai, you take a piece of Varak with it.
Oh, that's great. That could be a big one.
So yeah.
So I'm also gonna just start taking questions from
I think it's
the
good.
audience.
Cool.
So I've got a few questions summarized here.
Okay.
So the first one is, how does the cloud kitchen actually change your margins? Can you walk us through simply, like, how does it change the dynamics for your business? If you've
Okay,
thought about that.
good question. I think it's not more about the margin. Actually, we have better margins in Cloud Kitchen because the utilities and everything are much lesser, and there's no capex. For example, an average 1,000 square feet shop would cost us anywhere between 500 to 700,000 to build. That's 1,000 square feet. So one is the amount of space that a Cloud Kitchen gives you. A Cloud Kitchen cannot give you more than 100 to 100 square feet. So margins, it doesn't need it only makes it better. That's the logic. So the next move where we're gonna do, but it makes you space constrained and menu constrained. That is the only con. But then you play what we're gonna do with the Cloud Kitchen is to do the third party last mile fulfilling places where we feel that opening a full flagship store doesn't make sense, but being available on all Deliveroo, Kareem, Kita, Noon, Talabat makes sense.
Right.
Especially considering that Dubai is a very delivery centric market, right? So
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all these delivery apps are very radius centric. So margin wise, it works beautifully for us.
Yeah.
That's what is encouraging. So we've signed the Cloud Kitchen, and it's gonna open in September.
Okay, nice.
And the margins actually look too good, man.
Like
Can't wait to
I've
get started.
I've always been a bit apprehensive about cloud kitchens, but I'm excited about it. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Diva seems to be the more measured and
Yeah, because
analytical.
if I like something, I have to sell it.
Oh, nice.
Right?
So-
And
So you
then
have a
if
VC
she,
inside.
exactly, and if she's
In-house.
convinced,
Yeah.
because like she asks the tough questions, right? So if I could convince her to do it, because at the same time, as the executive chef, she should be able to tell me that yes, we can shell out 50 orders a day.
Yeah, like when we weren't ready to be on Deliveroos and Talabats for the first 3 years of our business. We weren't there, and Preet kept saying, "I think it's time," and I'm like, "No, we're not there." Which when we were ready with our packaging, the way it reaches you fine. It's a cake that's been made fresh with ingredients that are very good, things
Right.
that could melt. So when we were completely ready, that's when we went live on third parties, and it's quite a success, I would say. Yeah.
So every time we had to do something new, like for example, the vegan cake is one of the top sellers on the menu. I had to beg Diva for a year to do it. Because until she's not gonna make something the best, she's not gonna give it to me.
When people ask us what our bestsellers are, I'm like, everything's a bestseller. Because if it's not on the menu. I'm not going to approve for it to be on the menu if it's not a bestseller. Just that food is subjective, right? You might like chocolate and you might like a fruit, which is why we've got different flavors. But
Preet will float a
That's-
concept and you'll make sure when it goes out, it's a bestseller. It will be
Yeah,
a
that's
success.
the
that's
idea.
that's
Very nice.
But I hope that answers the cloud kitchen
That's-
questions.
that's-
Margins
yeah.
are great.
yeah.
Great. Okay, next one. I'm going to skip a few and then go to one which is an interesting one. We probably a short one. What's the most unusual custom order you've ever had to make?
I'll let you take it.
Actually, with AI today, it's
yeah.
crazy.
It's hectic, man.
It's hectic with the kind of requests we get.
Yeah, that must be interesting.
A
like
man
AI
sitting in a Rolls Royce, smoking a cigar, wearing a certain watch, a grey Zegna shoes, like, and it needs to look to the T because GPT and Claude designs it for them based on their brief, and then they want us to do it the same way.
And then we just look at that picture and we're like, how? I
But
think
that's a struggle that a lot of
yeah,
custom
yeah,
cake people are
today
having
it
today.
is, but yeah, we've got quite a few actually. We've got like floating cakes where you make the top tier look like it's not a part of the bottom tier. One of them, we've got a request where they want everything to be a dummy, no cake.
Really?
Yeah, like the whole cake is
Actually,
just a
we're
visual.
doing one more.
We're
It's
doing
crazy,
one where
yeah.
And you do
everything's a
it?
dummy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
where the cake's decorated well, but then they're not gonna cut it. It's just a showpiece. So it's crazy. We have people who are like, this cake is mine. I'm gonna eat it all. Where we've got people or corporates or customers who like, we just want this to be a display piece. Then we've got gifting. So yeah, we've got unusual requests like these.
Nice. So yeah, back to more diligence questions.
Yeah, go for it.
So, of the 8 stores planned, which locations are you most excited about? What's the gating factor, capital or talent?
I mean, the gating factor is almost solved considering that we've got some phenomenal institutional interest. So that part is solved. But I think I'm very excited about Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
I'm really excited because we've got a lot of clients. We cater to a very big name in Abu Dhabi already to their private flights. So Abu Dhabi is something that I'm really excited about. Sharjah is something that I'm really excited about because there's a community we deliver to Sharjah really often. And I'm also very excited about Furjan because I feel Furjan is really booming more than Dubai South
As a community.
at this point.
Yeah.
I will get excited for Dubai South in 2 years. Imar South in that area near the Maktoum airport is going to be
Right.
exciting
Yeah.
post 2 years.
Yeah.
But I would say Abu Dhabi excites me the most because it just opens up an entire new array of spending power and market.
Got it. Makes sense. The next one here is also very interesting. A lot of founder-led brands struggle to scale beyond the founders. How are you building a team that can run Varak without you in every kitchen and every decision?
I'll let Diva start this and then I'll do it because I really want her to do it. Yes, because I think it's a great question. Go for it.
I love that question. And honestly, before I met Preet, this was a question I asked myself. And I didn't have an answer to. But today I think it's possible and it's doable because, we had a baby 2 years ago. And all my life I was like, as a baker and as somebody who started a business with working 15 hours a day and just me. I was the only employee in my own business when I started. And when we started here, we were the only 2 people. I was baking and he was delivering and then stuff like that. And he was, getting packaging done and stuff. And I was like, I'm doing this now, but when we have a baby, how's it going to work? And it's crazy how the last 3 years before having a baby have been that we've built this business in such a beautiful way that I think the recipes, the whole ecosystem of the kitchen has been such that my recipes have been replicated by somebody else beautifully well. And every day I go to the store and I try everything. I eat all the nuts, I have a bite of the cake and I'm like, yeah, this is good. This is really good. I would want to buy it. So to reach that point in the last 3 years, but I am not baking anymore, which I don't know whether I should be happy about or what, but that makes me proud that the team, 38 people, the whole team of Varak is able to do things that when we go for vacations, which we are actually, I'm very excited about in the next week. We're going for 2 weeks and the business runs and touch wood, it's great. So
for
over a
example,
course
like,
of time,
yeah, sorry,
you
go on.
go for it.
Yeah, but exactly, that was the idea, right? So I think we've cracked that.
Yeah.
The processes are in place, but what we need to crack next is to hire a little a, a senior talent,
Talent, yeah.
which can do that particular role better than us. Operations, uh, in terms of customer service, ticketing, queries, to make it more, I would say automation is a very
You can
wrong
focus
word.
on
Yeah.
growth more.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Like I feel
yeah.
that it is for somebody who's an expert in like a category manager,
Right.
right? Somebody who can focus on building the, like for example, we started doing flowers with a florist, and all of a sudden, for example, this year we sold 200 boxes of mangoes. We are a cake brand
Yeah, that was insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
because everybody said your mangoes are amazing. So we can focus on avenues of growth. And we said, okay, you know what? We, the same mangoes that we use into our cakes, we'll sell those boxes, and we ended up selling 200 boxes.
You understand your customers so well.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and they understand us so
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah,
But
actually, they
I-
tell us
yeah,
what to
yeah,
do.
they tell us why don't you sell the mangoes and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So to answer that question
Of scale,
more,
yeah.
of scale, to let them know we're using the same cream that we did when we started 6 years ago. We're using the same oven that we do today that we did 6 years ago. We're using the same chocolate. Prices have gone up. A lot of things have changed, right? But we haven't moved from there. I think that has what has kept things in place even after us going on vacations, having a baby, whatever. This is when we're not in touch. That is with store number one. The challenge was when we opened store number two, which is Arjan, and we're like, how would we do this now that we have two stores? And that's when we realized that this is if this is possible with two stores, so is it possible with 10 stores? With of course the talent that we're looking to hire in the coming years.
Like we go to the business based store, and I'm not proud about this. Like Diva probably goes to the business based store once or twice a week.
Yeah.
And that is the higher revenue store.
Yeah.
Which the point here is that it is as tight, the processes and recipes, in order for us to do this right.
I have one question. What is your recipe to success? In if you had to take from the time you started to now, if there's one thing that you've maintained and you're proud of that has resulted, that is the reason for your success now.
There's so many actually. I'm like,
I think your
wow, what's that?
intention.
Yeah. That's on that's first on my list.
Go for it.
I mean, it's the idea of serving the people, right? The idea when we started was not, oh my God, the money or the how big it needs to be, the bigger picture, but it was the intention to serve things to people that probably is not available elsewhere. To create things like I believe I was created to create, right? And that's what gives me the jam in the kitchen. And when people like it, or when it's being eaten and served and appreciated, that's what keeps me happy. And I think that's what keeps it going for me. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's first.
So we have more than two founders actually in this room. We have Karan, who's a co-founder of Credibila. And I want to ask you this question. Most people know about stock market investing or real estate investments, but you are targeting a very niche place. You're targeting the private markets. So what is Credibila building?
Sure. So Credibila was set up with a vision to bring, as we say, private markets to retail investors. Now, what I mean by that is, if you look at financial markets traditionally, most retail investors, which includes individuals like us, have only had access to stocks or bonds, which are freely traded on the market, which are highly regulated, and for a reason, because retail investors tend to be more cautious and they need to know more about it. They need to be more comfortable that they can sell and buy these shares and stocks more easily. And however, if you see the last, well, I wouldn't say however, but what has happened in the past several years is that a lot of the value creation or the wealth creation has happened in private companies. So today, when a Zomato goes public, it's already gone more than 1000x over its starting valuation. So there are a lot of great companies, a lot of promising companies that grow a lot faster during the early stages of their journey. However, retail investors don't get a chance to access that growth, and it's mostly limited to institutional investors because the typical ticket sizes are very high. So, and also to have several retail investors, like if someone's really interested in Varak, it's very hard for them to actually get investments in Varak because you're not going to have 20, 30 people.
That's the reason we didn't do it. So that's exactly the idea, right?
Right,
Every time
exactly.
somebody said, a friend and family said, hey, we want to invest, we were like, no, it's fine. Because we did not want to deal with 20, 25 individuals, not of anything else, but it just complicates what we're trying to do
Exactly.
here. So Credibila really
Yeah, exactly. So
solves
that's
it.
exactly the gap we were trying to solve for. So on one hand, we had retail investors who were getting savvy and were aware of the kind of returns they can make and participate in the growth. And on the other hand, companies wanted a more simpler, easier structure to manage these investments in case someone was interested, right? So that's what we tried to bridge with Credibila. And we have now a structure which allows us to take lower minimums and allow people who are really, invested in the growth and want to go with the brand and be part of that brand, participate in these investments.
So, Karan, let's bring it all together. What is the opportunity on Credibila right now?
So we are looking at on Credibila, we are looking at raising about $300,000, which is 1 million dirhams in Varak, and we're looking at a post-money valuation of 25 million dirhams, which translates to 4% in the business, distributed amongst the subscribers based on their contribution. And we hope to keep seeing the company grow and the valuation grow with time. Of course, it's a private company, so it comes with its risks. But given the growth and given the story we have seen here, we have conviction. So that's the opportunity for retail investors who believe in the story to participate in the growth with Varak.
That seems like quite a platform. So that's where we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us. And the opportunity is live on the platform on Credibila. We will be allocating on a rolling basis, and we are targeting to close on July 10th, 2026. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you.